Okay, so if you saw my previous video on using a USB physical hard drive on a Raspberry Pi 4, and my plan was to use the larger builds of Retropie and see if it works, well, this is it, and it is working, and it is absolutely great. So you can see there's loads and loads of builds on here. If you look down on the bottom, you can see where it says all games, 8,619 games. And what you can do is you can either click in that and you can go through the games as they are, and you can see the first one is great, which is like a hypersport style game. And if I flick down through, you can see the box art changes to match the game, and so you can see exactly what you're going to get from it. But it's also switching between systems, so you can see this is PSP minis, which I'd never come across before. I've got a PSP, but I've got an original one. Arcade, NES, Game Boy Color, and so on. And the good thing about this is if you like a particular game, you can see if there's different versions of that game. So there we've got a NES one, there we've got a PC Engine one, and here we've got, is that arcade? So you can see and you can search through. Now if you wanted to search for something with a higher letter, so if I wanted to look for, say, Tony Hawk's, I can go up to the top. Oh, that's cool. So if you press and hold on the joystick, you can see that it'll actually change. And so we're looking for T for Tony Hawk's, and we'll see how many of those and what platforms they're on. And if we keep going, eventually we'll get there, and you can see, crikey, it's a great series of games. And also there's a new one now, isn't there? There's a new one on, I think it must be Xbox, PS4, and also PC. So this would be, looks like a Game Boy Color or something like that, is it? If I let it, it will scroll across if you leave it on it. So Game Boy Advance, of course it is not Game Boy Color. What's that one? Look at the sort of vectory graphics. What platform is that on? It's not actually changing to let me know. N64 though, which obviously looks a lot better. Game Boy Color again, N64, Game Boy Advance. That must be the Dreamcast version, I'm guessing. Yeah, Dreamcast. Really, really impressive. You might be able to change some of these skins to be able to see the whole name. So when it's a long name, it's hard to read all the way through it. But this is just amazing. So if I skip back and I go through, so that was all games. So Arcade Classics, 1,218 games. So you can see, and again, I haven't come across any without videos yet, which is just unbelievable. The amount of work that goes into compiling all this and everything. And also I've found that the performance is really good as well. So it's not that it's just a load of games stuffed into one image and then no care has been taken. The performance, and especially on N64, the performance is really good. Oh, that looks good, look. Backfire Audi Quattro, isn't it? Or is it maybe it's a Ford Escort. So if I quit out of that and go for Neo Geo, you can see, oh, let's check the 140 games, and then again you just hover on one and it will go straight into it. And remember, this is all coming from this £12 physical hard drive that I got from CEX, so just a second-hand hard drive. It's very quiet actually. So Atomic Wave, let's flick through and you can see it looks pretty decent. Yeah, that looks interesting. And then Naomi, there's some really good looking games on this. Yeah, really decent graphics. What's that one? That looks interesting, doesn't it? Might have a look at that. Spiker's Battle. Should we go with it? Some of these things my screen capture cuts out because it changes resolution, and the reason it changes resolution from 1080, which it defaults to, is because it wants to give you the best performance. So let's click on that Spiker's Battle and see what happens. So it's loading up. So I'll flick through the characters nice and quickly. Let's go with Linda. Right, first battle stage, Diesel Town. Now why have I got no sound? It's because I've messed. Let's just try and get... Whoa. Little sidestep there, wasn't it? Yeah, this is decent. The frame rate seems pretty good. I don't know what jump is. Oh, it's a move. So if I press the 3 buttons in the middle of the Xbox controller, that quits me out, and then I go back to the menu. Yeah, and my screen capture is still going, which is great. Sports Jam, some sort of, I was going to say basketball, but cycling. I like a bit of cycling. Don't know, it looks like it might be button pressing though. Oh well, I'll have another look at that at some point. Street Fighter, Toy Fight, just loads of stuff. Like, always amused by a wrestling one. Yeah, looks pretty decent. So let's go back, and Daphne. And these were like the video. I remember Dragon's Lair. I remember that in the arcade. I think I've gone on about this in another video. But it was just like playing a movie, but it was very, very difficult. You had to press the button at exactly the right point, otherwise the game quit out and you died. So if you made a wrong decision, you just died. So it was, it was certainly, it wasn't cheap either as well. So it looks like these are all games based on that sort of style of gameplay, which at the time, there was nothing like it. Games looked really basic, but then actually what it didn't have in the same way was gameplay. So there were much more basic looking games, but they played a lot better. OpenBOR. I think there's a bit of setup you need to do to this. What's the Bruce Lee one? Look, to get a video for that. Look at that. You even get videos for these OpenBORs. Just incredible how much there is in there. So Atari. Let's flick down through. I had one of these as a kid. Don't stand the test of time quite so well. 7800 I wasn't really that aware of. So what are we looking at? Well, that was 1990. Choplifter. Crossbow. Oh yeah, pretty basic graphics. Then the Atari Lynx, so this was their handheld one. Actually, what was it? I saw something that looked pretty decent on here. Or California games I used to like on various different systems. And this one looked reasonable. Always like the BMX games. Checkered Flag. Some platforms just don't lend themselves well to driving games. And this looks like that would be one a bit like it. Oh, was it hard driving on this? No, it was on a different system. It must have been. Oh no, it was on this. Yeah, I tried this. Shocking frame rate. But I think the game was probably like it because they were using these sort of 3D graphics. Jimmy Connor's Tennis. That looks like it'd be playable. Bit of Lemmings. Just loads and loads. How many was on the Lynx? So 71 on that. 7800 had 58 games and 496 for the 2600. Family Computer 104 games. When the cover art doesn't really match the game, and that would probably be it. Captain Silver. Crisis Force. And you'll find there's always some great games for every system. Whatever you look at, there'll always be some. I don't know what that is. Esperbuken. Looks like sort of Bomberman the way it plays. Let's have a quick look at that. And I'm going to do a random one on this as well. Like I did on the 128 gig Damaso build, I did a random one. Oh, I've got a hammer. And I can jump. Do you reckon I need to go up there? No. Yeah, and I did a random one where it basically picks your games for you, and you can just. What do I have to do with that? I've just got the points. Yeah, it's definitely got Bomberman sort of physics. Oh, and you can stay up. Well, you'd think he wouldn't be able to take that, wouldn't you? Oh, he's gone. Is that enough? Mysterious voice. This castle is full of evil, but not all of its dwellers are bad, so talk before you fight. Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to do that. Right, okay. So let's quit out of that. And back again. So that was 104 games. Family Computer Disk System, 140 on that. So I guess this is an updated version. 1987, look. What's Breeder? That's Breeder. Of course it is. Bubble Bobble. Used to play that on Spectrum, I think. Dig Dug. Yeah, these are all sort of Spectrum names. A lot of them would have been ported over. So Donkey Kong. Exciting Baseball. Exciting Basket. Oh yeah, I used to play one a bit like that on the Master System. On an emulator on the Game Boy Advance, and it actually played alright. I actually quite enjoyed it. Fire Bam. Golf. Yeah. Ice Climber. Karate Champ. God, used to be loads of karate games. Oh yeah. Like was it IK Plus? Oh, I just pressed left then. Oh, it remembers where you were though. So if you go left and right, it goes between systems. And so Nintendo Entertainment System. What was that? 781. God, 781. Look. Addams Family. Adventure Island. Oh yeah, remember that in the arcade. Airwolf. Aladdin, like a bit of Aladdin. Good on loads of systems. Bit of basketball as well with Arch Rivals. Okay, so I put the sound back on now because it wasn't recording both at the same time. So I'm using it through my mic now, so you get a little bit of game sound. So Nintendo hacks, 51 games, and these are, I've looked at these in the other Damaso build. They're basically versions of other games where they've changed bits about them. So there wasn't, I believe, a Donkey Kong Country 4 on the NES, but someone has lovingly created one. And there is some amazing stuff on it, like God of War. Look. How's that going to look? Not like the PSP version. But again, great to see. Really, really impressive. So, Super Nintendo. How many games? 125. Obviously a very good platform, Super Nintendo. Lots of them are Japanese, aren't they? So, oh, Super Famicom. Sorry, I looked at the picture, didn't read the writing. So that would be the reason. So Super Nintendo was 783. That would make more sense. So a bit of what I call American football. Legacy Tennis. That looks pretty decent. I like a tennis game. Wow. Balls 3D Fire. I do remember that. Was that on the Amiga, I think, back in the day as well? So just loads, and again, if you press and hold, it picks up and it goes faster through the systems. Lucky Luke's good. So let's go back, and Super Nintendo hack, same sort of thing as NES hacks. So NBA Jam 2020. So with updated player stats and things, which is incredible, really. New Super Mario Land, that looks nice. And so N64, yeah, I'll go for an N64 one because I haven't done any N64 and the performance has been excellent. Don't know that game. One of the games, if you watch any of my other videos, I've had trouble playing Mario Tennis, and it hasn't been very good for me. It was slowing down a lot, and yet I tried this the other day and it was amazing. It full speed, looked great, worked really, really well. So I am overclocked to 2147, but I've tried up to 2250 on another build on, I think it was the ordinary Retropie, and I still had issues with slowdown, so I need to try Excitebike, because that was one of the ones I was trying. So you can see it definitely lowers the resolution, but it's a game for TV, so I should sit back a bit further and then it would look better. But for me, it's more about how the game plays. And that sounds bad, but when you get in the game, I can't remember if it's digital pad or analog pad, it seems to be running at a really decent speed. Oh, that wasn't going to work. So yeah, really impressed with that, because that was something that I hadn't had working and would like to have played it. Really good as a two-player game. So let's quit out of that. Haven't got Destruction Derby on her, have we? Because that's another game that and also Excitebike. So there's a couple of games that I had that were really slow that I need to look through. Yeah, loads of content. How many was on this? 140 games. Ordinary Game Boy. Just flick through. Had some surprisingly good games on the ordinary Game Boy. Even though it was black and white, some of them were just very playable. A lot of it is about game design. If you haven't got a powerful system, you can still get a great, enjoyable game. So Game Boy Color was also very good as well. 007. Nice music. So let's try something like Ants Racing. See what that looks like. Doesn't look great. Strange video. Seem to be just sort of jumping. Right, so. Oh yeah, I used to play something like that on PC, was it? Like a shareware game I used to have. No, Game Boy Advance. I used to have something similar to that. Bob the Builder. Nice. And so that was, what was Game Boy? Game Boy Color was 5 through 5. One of my favourites, Game Boy Advance. Incredible platform, 2008. And some of these games did play really well. The Winning 11 is the best soccer game, football game on the Game Boy Advance. It plays really well. It's Pro Evolution Soccer, and it's just excellent. I used to play a lot of Dave Mirror on this, BMX. God, so much like all these ATV games. It wasn't the best platform for racing games. Ooh. And obviously it was a very small screen, so as soon as you put it on I'm sat very close to a 4K 43-inch TV. Yeah, frame rate issues, but that looks interesting though. So Virtual Boy is like a virtual reality, but everything is not really. I've covered this in a previous video. Everything is all sort of red, and yeah, not a great experience for TV, but it's nice to have the option. PC Engine, not really a system I was very familiar with, but definitely looks reasonable. Speech, nice speech. Bomberman, used to enjoy that on the Amiga. Just amazing. And this is why I need to do the random thing really. So basically just pick it at random and let it play, because I found some good games the last time I did that. Because there's so much here that you could search all day and you can easily skip past things. Oh, no, didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I accidentally pressed the wrong button, so let's see what this game is. Oh yeah, well, that's alright. I haven't found jump yet. Which one's jump then? Two at once, maybe? Oh yeah, two at once. Does some sort of weird... Yeah, well, better games in this genre available, but nice to see. I don't even know what that was called. What was it? Oh, it was Double Dragon 2. Oh, okay. So go back and Turbo Graphics. Nice. Chase HQ. Looks more arcadey. Don't know what drop off is. Oh no video for that one. And that's a rarity. That's the first one I've looked at loads on this, and that's the first one that I haven't had a video for. Like a sort of Tetris style game. So what was there? 94 games on that. Super graphics. Only 5 games on this one. Ghosts and Goblins, nice. All Ghouls and Goblins. There's several different versions of it. That looks decent as well. PCFX, only 3 games for that. Shooting game, like a fighting game. Super Power League Baseball. PlayStation, one of my favourite platforms of all time, 90 games. So things like Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 and the racing. So I like Destruction Derby 2 is very good on this. So let's give that a go. There we go. So I thought the graphics were reasonable on this for PlayStation times, but I like the jumps and the sort of uncertainty over the jumps. I don't know what break is yet. Oh. And it's proper fast. Oh, it is proper fast. Oh, I'm out. Is it going to reset me on me out? Oh, resets me backwards. Someone hear that? Excuse me. Oh, he got out of the way. PlayStation is very well emulated on Raspberry Pi. I haven't had a bad PlayStation emulation yet, and this is great as well. And I've got some games I would definitely add to this. Oh, so let's quit out of that. And what else we got? PSP, amazing, really well emulated. 27 games on this. Saw some really good driving games again. So Burnout Legends is really decent on PSP. Gran Turismo, which looks really nice. And I saw this Sega Rally. I don't think I've played this one, so I might have a quick look at that. But I'm conscious I've played lots of driving games, so maybe I do a bit of Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. So this will be a later version, won't it? 2006 for this game. Oh, and we've got some proper graphics here. No speech. Oh yeah, that does look good. Oh. Oh, it's nice and responsive, and the graphics do look good. PSP is a great platform. Oh, what happened there? Oh, I've got a different sword look. Oh, God, it's difficult though. Right, so let's come out of that. Oh, this takes you back into the PPSSPP menu, which is good because it gives you save states, which is excellent. So you can just continue exactly where you got to. Oh, and actually I tried this yesterday, so if I go exit the menu, you can see all the games show up in here as well. That was that Sega Rally. Need to have a look at that at a different point. Or Little Big Planet. I've heard loads of things. I've never played that, but I know it's very well regarded. So let's quit out of that. Takes us back into the menu. PSP Minis. I don't know if this is store games. You know, that you download on the download store. It looks like they probably are because they're sort of smaller, lighter games, or maybe they're user created. Super Crash. 3D Twist and Match. Yeah, so there's some all sorts of things in there, like Angry Birds in here. And there's a lot of them. Burning Rubber. Yeah, old style arcade game. So that's also something I need to have a look at. So, what else have I got? Sega SG-1000, not a system I know of really. Oh, look, very Atari. Early days. 1982, look, 1983. Championship Soccer. Oh dear. You can guarantee there'll be some decent games in there though, even though you can see that the hardware is very old. What was that? Pitfall. Pitfall's decent. Oh, go on. I was just going to concentrate on the harder to run systems, but you know, when you see a game and you think, oh yeah, I'd like to give that a go. So let's jump. Both buttons are jump. Right. Oh no. There's the rope in it. Right. Let's try that again. Oh, it was close. And I can't fire anything, can I now? So I'm just going to have to jump over that. Down. Oh. Where can I go from there? Oh, up the ladder. So I didn't really need to do that, did I? Where's the rope gone? Oh, it came back. Only when you're on the lower level. Okay, so let's quit out of that, but that was pretty decent. Sega Master System. Arcade smash hits. Back to the Future. Oh, it looks a bit like Kane on the Spectrum. Nice. So, what was there? 277 games, 763 games for the Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive as we know it in the UK. And this was a very good play. Oh, no artwork for that one. No video rather for that one. Buster. But again, it's very rare that there's no video. Altered Beast is a reasonable game. Atomic Robo Kid. Another tennis game. Yeah, so I need to revisit that. Genesis Hacks. So NHL 20. It's great that they've, and I think it was NHL 93 or 94, I think, maybe 95, that I used to play and was a really good game. Sonic and Yoshi. Amazing. Game Gear. So Aladdin's always good on various different platforms. Some of the Batman games are quite good on on this platform as well on Game Gear. Although that one looks a bit slow. That one looks better. Bust a move. Genesis 32X. So this was like a slightly higher version. That looks fairly smooth. Doom. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 was decent. Several good Spider-Man games in the past. Yeah, that looks pretty good as well. Sega CD. Some of the Echo the Dolphin games are very popular and very relaxing. Oh, I've gone on. NBA. Mega Race. Sonic CD. Yeah, all sorts of content. So Dreamcast is another excellent one, which I don't think was in the previous build, and I've got some games I can add to this. But yeah, this is a really nice to see on there. What have I got that I wouldn't have played and is not a racing game? Well, Tony Hawk's I always play and I love it. Oh, let's go with a bit of Virtua Striker. Yeah, let's give that a go. And I tried a couple of other Dreamcast games and they ran really well. Japan versus Chile. Oh yeah, graphics look decent. Oh, D-pad not analog stick. Oh, the viewing angle's not great though. Oh. I don't know if that can be changed. There's slide. Oh. Yeah, graphics do look decent, and it's quite frantic. I don't know what any of the buttons are. Good job I got a good goalkeeper. Oh, nice lofted ball. Oh, it didn't make a lot of difference. So that runs well. Okay, so that's the end of the list. So I've got options here, and you can see there are all sorts of options and updates and things like that. I haven't run any updates on this, and everything's been working very, very well. So I'm probably not going to mess with it at the moment, but I'll maybe read on the forums what people have had success with. But incredible. And this, so the random thing, if I click on all games, so if I press Y, you can see that it randomly selects a game. So Joust on the Atari 7800, random again, Santa Claus Jr. on the Game Boy Color, random again, Hot Potato. And you can either do this, the way I did my previous video was I literally played whatever popped up, or you can just use this as a way of searching. And the good way of doing it is that it's just flying through the list and it's finding new things, and then all of a sudden you'll find something and you think, oh yeah, that looks interesting, I'll give that a try. So, brilliant, and I'm really pleased that it works on my 750 gig drive. Okay, so I'll show a basic tutorial of how I got this working. It really revolves around my boot video, my USB boot video on Raspberry Pi, but I'll also show you the last little bits of me setting it up. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is go to Arcade Punks and download the image. Once you've downloaded the image, you need to unzip it, and then I'll go up to my wife's computer and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so select image. The drive it's on is E, and in a folder called delete. So let's open that up, select target, click on that, hit continue, and hit flash. So it's asking, it's unusually large, is it okay? Yes it is. If you want to allow this to make changes, yes. And that's it. So how long is it going to take? So, not too bad. Looks like it's getting quicker and quicker. This isn't that slow a computer, this one. Okay, so that's been written on my computer upstairs to the 750 gig hard disk. Let's plug it into my Mac and do a couple of things, do the overclocking, which you don't need to do, but obviously it helps on a lot of games. So sudo commands. I've got a folder in here which has got my 4K fix and the over voltage and overclock. So let's open up boot, close that one down, config.txt, just paste it somewhere in here. And save that. Don't know why that took a while. So then we need the 14 boot files, which need to be copied into the boot folder. So you can see that this is in boot, which is the root of the 750 gig drive. Literally just drag them across and drop them, and then apply to all and replace. So this is putting in all the updated bootloaders. I did that fast, so that seems alright. And let's eject that and then boot the Pi and see if it works.